This is a video about how to do the perpendicular bisector of any segment. So if you start with a segment, the perpendicular bisector will be a line that's right in the middle at the bisector of, or the midpoint of this line, and it forms a 90-degree angle. So, this where my pen is would create a perpendicular line, but there's many different perpendicular lines to this line, but the bisector is going to be at the midpoint. You notice I've said midpoint, so it's actually going to be similar to the midpoint construction. So you'll start with a segment, and with your compass open to a little bit more than half, or at least more than half of your segment, what you're going to do is keep that same compass setting and draw an arc. So that arc is above and below your line. And then same compass settings, don't change those. Make sure you draw the same, an arc above and below. And this is very similar, it's actually identical to the midpoint constructions that we've done. So now we have two different intersections above and below my circle, or above my line. And the perpendicular bisector is going to be a line connecting those intersection points. So this we did before is the midpoint, but the perpendicular bisector is the segment that goes through those two intersection points. So we have now constructed a perpendicular bisector, which is a 90-degree angle right there. Now what if we have to actually do the other thing and actually, given another line segment, say this blue line segment here, if we want to construct a perpendicular that's not a bisector, let's say we want it to go through this point. As you can see, it's not going to go through the midpoint of that. Actually, I'm going to extend this line a little bit. A little bit more there. To create a perpendicular now, what we're going to do is actually, we need to use our compass here, and we need to draw an arc from our point, from point P. And this arc needs to kind of go through and intersect this line at two different places. So it needs to be big enough to intersect at two different places. So let's try that here. There we go. Sorry. So there we go. Now our point is intersected here and here. And what we actually did there was actually created that point that's going to be, if we drop this point down, it would actually be at the midpoint of that line segment. So now what we're going to do is use the same steps we've done in the past to basically just looking at my two segments here, my endpoints A and B. We're basically now going to create the perpendicular bisector through the points AB that goes through P. So we'll do the same steps as before. So we need to have a perpendicular, or a line that goes at least halfway between A and B there, or greater than halfway there, above and below. So we'll keep those same compass settings now, go over to A and make intersection points right there and there. And now our two intersection points, here are these blue lines that I'm going to do, or blue dots, they will actually go through that point. And we've done it so that now it will create a 90-degree angle. I was just a little bit off. The more precise you are with your compass settings there, the better it'll be. But now this point right here is actually a 90-degree angle. So what we've done is we were given the original blue line here, the one that's going kind of horizontally, and we've created a 90-degree angle that goes through that point, or a line that goes through that point at a 90-degree angle. Mine's a little bit off, so the closer you can get to being precise, it'll work out a little bit better.